If anyone asks you about spirits, ask in return, what do you mean by spirit? The beast man, this devilish force, wants you to believe in spirits because he thrives on your fear, fright, terror. He has no Ba, no ethereal family, no soul to care for him beyond this life. He is purely flesh and spiritless, like the animals that devour each other and leave no one on the other side to welcome them. Over millennia, he's poured billions into stories of ghosts, spooks, and the paranormal, TV shows such as Ghost Hunters or Paranormal Quest, movies featuring vampires, Frankenstein, werewolves, zombies, mummies, demons, jinn, gorgons, and goblins. Whether spooky or humorous, they all stoke the fear of the unknown. He fuses these tales with religious doctrine, promoting belief in unseen, unproven spirits. Countless Christian sects preach the Holy Ghost, guardian angels, speaking in tongues, out-of-body experiences, and astral travel. They print millions of books, hold retreats, and sell candles, crystals, incense, oils, beads, zodiac charts, and mystical symbols, all promising transformation if you believe as he commands. Yet he only reaches up to the sixth ether. You need to ascend from the ether through higher vibrations to unlock the true doorway, the ninth ether, into the cosmic vortex. He has no soul, no way forward. His $18 billion media empire of fear will not carry him to the stars. When movies and music failed to fully ensnare you, he turned to secret societies, Freemasons, Shriners, Knights Templar, Royal Archmasons, Knights of Columbus, Odd Fellows, each claiming ancient Egyptian knowledge. Failing to hold sway, he formed separate lodges for black members and spawned new groups, the Moorish Science Temple, Zionist Temple of the Moors, Nation of Islam, 5% Nation, Hebrew Israelites, and other sects, to dilute and co-opt your heritage. He even tried elevating black leaders, Arthur Matthews, Sheikh Daoud Ahmed Faisal, Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, Yahweh Ben Yahweh, hoping to harness their influence. When they refused to serve his agenda, he targeted and dismantled them. Yet none gained a soul through his schemes. Because the beast man has no Ba, no life beyond six ether, he covets your soul. He promises wealth, cars, churches, TV time, fame, to lure you into his rituals, laying on hands, speaking in tongues, demon expulsions. Once he strips you of your Ba, you become as soulless as he is. Reject his counterfeit religions, rooted in Egyptian life but twisted to serve his lies. He urges you to believe in ghosts instead of your true ancestors, your ethereal family waiting to guide you with Ba and Ka. The ancient Egyptian coming forth by day teaches daily transformation and soul restoration. He restores my soul. This was David's cry after mixing his holy seed with Bathsheba and losing his way. In the end, his soul was restored. Your true ancestors require only that you approach in your soul state, open and honest. All may come, regardless of race, if they submit to the truth of self and kind. This life is one of 9. Understand the ethers, honor your Ba, and embrace the never-ending journey. Ether comprises all vibrations and gases, dark matter, dark energy, quantum particles. The physical plane's lightest element is hydrogen. Anything subtler is ether, linking the physical, mental, and spiritual planes. Through tone and vibration, ether connects us to ancestors. In our tradition, transition is celebration, not mourning. Crying stems from fear of the unknown, a psychological imprint of foreign religions. We honor passage to the next plane with joy, knowing our ancestors await us. Our readings come from the Scroll of Eyes, inscribed on sacred papyrus under the title Coming Forth by Day. The Akashic records are yet to emerge. Lacking Ba, the beast man dissipates into ghosts, demons, and tormentors. He entices you to clean him, by your own traditions, not his false rites, so he might borrow your Ba and slip through the stargate he could never open alone. Each of us exists on multiple vibrational levels, not confined to a single physical form. While a typical human, what some call the Kaukasu, is composed only of body and spirit, the life force animating our flesh, we as Nagaru possess an additional layer, the soul. This soul, the seat of our emotions, serves as our bridge to the afterlife, guiding us from one plane to the next after physical death. In ancient Egypt, this soulful essence was symbolized by the Ba bird perched atop funerary vessels, representing the soul's journey through the underworld. Lacking this soul connection, others depart as mere spirits, ghosts or etheric fragments, unable to ascend. Just as a battery can be drained, our soul's energy may diminish when we mix genetically with those who carry only spirit. This mixing, particularly in intimate unions, can weaken or even sever the soul's connection to its higher vibrational plane. Conversely, when a Nagar male unites with a Caucasus female, she may gain access to the soul's energy, though this often comes at the cost of weakening his own soul force. Regaining or bolstering one's soul is possible through practices that realign us with ancient traditions: chanting, prayer, meditation, studying ancestral teachings, and consuming whole, natural foods. Reawakening requires patience, a slow, deliberate journey rather than an overnight transformation. Different races correspond to varying numbers of etheric layers, each linked to distinct spiritual potentials. Pure Nagaru possess 7 ethers, Dravidians and Mongoloids likewise, but Caucasians have only 5 males, or 6 females. Those with fewer ethers must perform more spiritual deeds to ascend, while Nagaru, with higher ethers, carry a greater inherent connection, though many have lost touch with these abilities over time. Yet all races remain linked through ether and soul. Anyone, regardless of lineage, can approach the higher planes if they submit to self-knowledge and spiritual truth. Without soul and etheric family on the other side to receive them, however, souls that have not been nurtured may falter. Our DNA contains a living archive of our ancestors' vibrations. When we stand before Egyptian pyramids or ancient stone cities, those structures trigger genetic memories, unlocking dormant potential within us. This is why certain histories have been hidden. Revealing these connections would reawaken powerful forces within our communities. Throughout history, forces of conquest have sought to divide and conquer by mixing seed, spreading foreign languages, imposing new religions, and erasing indigenous sites of power. Yet relics remain, in South America, Africa, Asia, and Europe, bearing witness to ancient civilizations and the deep truths woven into our blood. Should one weaken their soul through genetic mixing or neglect, there are ancient cleansing rituals that can restore the soul's vibration. These ceremonies, passed down through oral and written tradition, purge disruptive energies and re-establish pure Nagaru resonance. For women, whose mitochondrial DNA carries the soul seed, the process may be longer, but it is always possible. Reconnection also occurs naturally through pilgrimage, returning to ancestral lands, bathing in equatorial sun, whose warmth and moisture resonate with our inner solar plexus, and sharing traditional rhythms, dances, and music that feed the soul. Nagaru exist in harmony with nature's cycles. We eat crops native to our regions, grown in mineral-rich soils, foods that nourish our unique biochemistry. Modern hybrid fruits and mass-produced vegetables may look healthy, but their genetic manipulation often strips them of vital enzymes and frequencies. To maintain our ancestral frequency, we favor unaltered, region-specific produce and honor the rhythms of sun, wind, and water. Our souls thrive on ritual. The chanting kept alive atop pyramids, the 24-hour meditations, the stone-building crafts that echo our ancestors' mastery of energy geometry. Pyramids themselves are not mere tombs but communication devices aligned with Sirius and Orion, portals that amplify spiritual frequencies and facilitate our union with cosmic forces. Despite centuries of suppression, of destroyed temples, stolen relics, and censored histories, the Nagaru spirit endures. Leaders who proclaim ancestral wisdom in the face of adversity awaken latent power in our communities. As long as we maintain our traditions, rebuild our sacred sites, and pass on the stories of our people, the third pyramid of our collective consciousness cannot be torn down. By reclaiming our right to build, to chant, to live by ancient laws, we stand once again at the threshold of our destiny, nature working for us, not against us. Our vibrational inheritance, encoded in our genome, awaits reactivation. The time to reawaken is now. You breathe approximately 18 times per minute, 1,080 breaths each hour, 25,920 in a day, revealing the recurring patterns of 6 and 9. The moon's radius is roughly 1,080 miles, and the sun's diameter measures 216,000 miles, both multiples of 1,080. Over 108 years, the moon completes 2 54-year cycles, returning to identical phases, nodes, and positions in the sky. These cycles, divided into 6 18-year periods, trace a 6-pointed star, reflected in honeycomb geometry, quartz crystals, and carbon rings, as carbon's atomic number is 6. In ancient Tamare, later called Mitzrayim, Egyptus, Kemet, and Egypt, scholars devised a calendar linking the 25,920-day solar year to the 24,000-year precession of the equinoxes, renewing our collective story every great year. They divided this solar cycle into 12 lunar months guided by Thoth, known as Hermes Trismegistus, Nakash, Alcunas, Iblis, guardian of astronomy, and Sirius, Sothis. Each month comprised 30 days, each day split into 12 hours, later adjusted by Dogon astronomers from Mali to 96 units per day after Roman Gregorian reforms introduced 24 Western hours. Greeks and Romans borrowed the Egyptian system, 60 minutes per hour, 60 seconds per minute, maintaining 6 times 60 equals 360 degrees, echoing 12 and 24 divisions of time. The tri-solar system of Sirius set a 360-day millennium, realigning solar and lunar calendars every 10 years until our modern 365-day year emerged. Ancient cubits measured 20 by 18 inches, tying human proportions to cosmic cycles, 360 and 18. The foot, cubit, and 1080 palakim, each 3.333 seconds, underscore the Egyptian rhythm of breath, Babylonian barleycorn units, and a 172-degree time division. Hebrew script, borrowed from Egyptian hieratic, preserved only consonants. Divine names emerged in plurals, Elohim, Theos, Allah, masking singular tones and numbers like 72, 144, and 216. Every 73 years, Sirius drifts backward 5 days across its 360-day cycle, aligning precisely with Egyptian records. From the human breath to Earth's heartbeat, 7.83 Hz Schumann resonance, timing intertwines. The moon's recession lengthens days, amplifies tides, and alters weather and biological cycles. The Great Year, 25,920 years, and precession, 26,000 years, revolve around 360 and 72, anchoring breath-tone practices that harmonize our bodies, brain waves, 7.2 to 7.83 Hz, and geomagnetic pulsations. Ancient Nubians lived in this resonance. We must reclaim their intuitive wisdom for science, therapy, climate insight, and ecosystem balance. You call yourselves Africans, Israelites, Christians, Muslims, Moors, Hebrews, yet speak in distorted names and dialects. We offered the earliest divine names, your leaders misused and mistranslated them, obscuring sacred sound. You turned Atun into action, Atone, Adonai, Yahweh, borrowed our scripts without understanding consonantal writing, renaming Tamari as Egypt. You slander our rulers, hide true meanings, and deny our heritage. We existed first, as race, culture, and religion, recording, drawing, and building long before your Torah, Gospels, and Quran. Your holy books speak in plurals while claiming one God. Your descendants will uncover these distortions. You hide proper pronunciations. Animals respond to true names' tones, and so must you. You assert one universal language pre-Babel, yet that tongue belonged to Africans. Our papyri and temple walls preserve the original words, your translations conceal them. You borrowed and mangled names. Panabo lost its sacred tone, Zaudi became Thoth, Horus became Hero, Osiris became Azad. The Rosetta Stone revealed only partial truths under Champollion and Young. The sacred Nuwaubic remains unknown. Invaders misread our dialects, forming Greek, Latin, Arabic, Hebrew names with altered consonants and invented vowels, losing true meanings. You pray in names you cannot pronounce, statues weep, prophets deceive, and souls remain entangled in blind faith. In Egypt, names hold power, a wrong name silences prayer. True communion demands correct tone. When you left Egypt, you wrote with new alphabets, Greek, Latin, Hebrew, always mishearing consonants, Tahuti to Thoth, Amun to Amen, Moses to Musa. Thus, your languages and religions stand on borrowed, mangled words. True wisdom lies in reclaiming the original sounds. Though we hail from every corner of the globe and from countless backgrounds, we share a conviction that our people must unite around common ground. Faith, on the other hand, can divide. No matter how fervently one holds a belief, passion alone does not guarantee its truth. Still, we recognize that each person has an inalienable right to their convictions, and we do not interfere in matters of individual faith. He who has an ear, let him hear. In the early 1990s, Dr. York, descended from Ben York of the Lewis and Clark expedition, acquired the property at 404 Shady Dale Road in Eatonton, Georgia, relocating there from upstate New York. Ever mindful of our Native American heritage, Dr. York affirmed that many who endured bondage on these shores were indigenous, not solely victims of the transatlantic slave trade. Dr. York's land in Georgia connects directly to the Rock Eagle effigy mound, a testament to the pyramid-like earthworks built by native tribes. In this region, the Yamasee people, whose name means gentle, once thrived. Their peaceful spirit mirrors who we are, a people uninterested in violence or terrorism, instead striving to live in harmony. Given the opportunity, our communities have erected grand cities, yet the ghettos often attributed to us result from systemic constraints, not our own designs. The media, too, frequently casts us in a negative light. Outside of entertainment, be it sports, music, or comedy, our intellectual contributions go largely unacknowledged. Education is central to who we are. As a teacher, Dr. York has mentored students who, in turn, have become educators themselves, uplifting our people from limiting mindsets. At the core of our culture lies a natural impulse to question everything, to awaken the divine awareness within us that demands inquiry rather than blind acceptance. When asked about our religion, we reply that we are animists. The term derives from the Latin animus, meaning soul. Animists honor the living essence in all things and believe that the unseen spiritual realm governs the physical world. Yet many of our people remain bound, not by chains, but by the mental stereotypes imposed upon us. Tomorrow's vision extended far beyond Egypt. We plan to recreate the great civilizations of Africa, Morocco, Ghana, Nigeria, Sudan, and more, right here in America. Visitors would have wandered these living replicas as if they were theme parks on par with Disney World. This ambitious project was designed to elevate our people, but it was tragically halted by Sheriff Howard Richardson, a man whose deep-seated racism undermined our progress. Sheriff Howard Richard Sills has been Putnam County's top lawman in Eatonton, Georgia, for nearly 20 years. In a speech at a local church in the late 1990s or early 2000s, he brazenly admitted that he was raised among people who believed Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the Christian minister who embodied the teachings of Jesus Christ, was evil. Such hostility toward Dr. King, celebrated as the greatest civil rights leader of our time, is unmistakably the hallmark of racism. That prejudice surfaced again in late 1998, when our social club hosted its second annual Halloween party in a brand new building. Shortly afterward, county officials cited the hall for lacking a certificate of occupancy, a bureaucratic oversight easily remedied by filing the required paperwork, which we promptly did. Yet instead of simply approving the certificate, Sheriff Sills secured an injunction shutting down every structure on the property, personally joining unqualified inspections to justify the closures. His heavy-handed tactics had nothing to do with public safety and everything to do with wielding authority without factual basis. Sheriff Sills's bias reached its cruelest extreme in his prosecution of Dr. Malachi York. He alleged York's followers were stockpiling weapons, a claim later disproven, and insisted he'd received an anonymous 1998 letter accusing York of molesting children, although no such letter was ever produced. No molestation allegations existed before York's arrest, yet Sills leveraged local media, particularly reporter Rob Petrie of the Macon Telegraph, Eatonton Messenger, and Lake Oconee News, to launch a relentless smear campaign. The case produced no DNA, no video or audio recordings, no bodily fluid evidence, and not a single recorded interview with alleged victims, only vague memories of a long summer in 1994. Sills's own history casts further doubt on his integrity. His acrimonious 1998 divorce proceedings, normally public record, were inexplicably sealed, suggesting the presence of criminal or deeply damaging allegations. Rumors persist that he once beat his wife with a baseball bat, breaking her jaw, a crime that would amount to aggravated battery. Darker still are whispers linking him to the death of Michael Flynn, the man his ex-wife was rumored to have had an affair with. Flynn was later found dead in Eatonton's The Strip, under circumstances that remain mysterious. In the end, Sheriff Sills orchestrated what became the largest raid in U.S. history against Dr. York, an operation built entirely on hearsay and racial animus, devoid of concrete evidence. Expecting witnesses to recall specific dates during a summer that spanned 3 months nearly a decade earlier was absurd. Yet Sills pressed on, using his badge to legitimize personal prejudice. This is the true story of how a sheriff with documented racist ties and a violent reputation turned the instruments of justice into weapons of persecution. In our tradition, Wu-Sabat describes the natural movement of existence toward ever higher standards, growth, perfection, and the creative force we call dark energy or dark matter. This primal energy, governed by time, order, reason, and purpose, is the source of all life in the evolving universe. Conversely, 6 ether represents chaos, man-made disorder, and the destructive force of white light and fire. This realm sprang into being roughly 6,000 years ago with the Adamite lineage, creatures fashioned in the image of a deity of light and fire, bound by rigid religious laws, and prone to violence, decay, and ruin. Looking back through time, we see dark-skinned races thriving in peace and harmony, building pyramids, temples, and writing across the globe, while light-skinned peoples arrived around 4000 BC, bringing war, destruction, and cultural erasure, often in the name of divine light. Their scriptures, from the Torah and the Gospels to the Quran, celebrate a God of blazing fire and white light, even as they denounce the natural darkness of creation as evil. They divide existence into 2 zones, day, good, and night, bad, though the sun itself always shines, undeterred by darkness. These faiths teach that darkness is sin and evil, and light is purity and salvation. Yet their own texts reveal that their God dwells in thick darkness, wreathed in storm and fire. They extol a white, fire-born deity yet claim that blackness is base and corrupt. Through translation and doctrine, they have imposed on us a light-skinned savior, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, while our own leaders, often lighter in complexion, repeat that blackness is sin. We reject these lies. No white Moses, Jesus, or Allah can save us. Our power lies in Wu-Nup, the right knowledge, wisdom, and reasoning that awaken our natural DNA and spirit. We are black, grown of dark matter and the sun's creative force, and in that darkness lies unlimited potential. Only by returning to our own traditions and refusing to worship a light race deity can we break free of the spell of self-hatred and external slave-master doctrines. It is not the pen that writes, but the soul. When I breathe out, I forget. When I breathe in, I remember. If you call someone a thief and they respond, you have revealed their truth. Label every aspect of yourself, or you will not recognize it when it confronts you. A well-lit torch burns without pain. This applies to men and women alike. The world divides into two, the self-proclaimed righteous and the rest, and it is always the former who judge. Nature gave mortals substance, intellect, and will. Together, these forge a healthy individual in a healthy environment. When something fails, simply move on. We came from nowhere, we go nowhere. So let us journey together. Believe no one, not even yourself. I love who you are inside, but I fear what you might do with it. Religions are for those who fear death. Divine truths never conflict. Religions shield you from facing facts. Actual facts are all you need. If you label me a liar for speaking truth, what does that say about you? To overstand is to grasp both positive and negative in everyone. This is nature's principle. Tears cleanse, water that flows from your eyes is a purifier. Seek truth, and it will find you. Pain is merely another sensation. Wanting security betrays insecurity. A name given at birth need not define you. Patience is self-control extended over time. Being born into a religion means you were not of it before birth. Old age grants the rewards of wisdom, if you studied well. You need not inherit your parents' beliefs. Never shop for food when you're hungry. Eat when you're hungry, don't follow meal schedules imposed by others. New names for old things only confuse. You are always a child in someone's eyes. Mortals give charity, the overseers give confirmation. You allow others to wound you. You may be wounded by others, but you must own your response. Only animals live only among their own kind. Every moment is change, you cannot halt or reverse it. You cannot argue with yourself, unless you've taken on another's voice. The overseers love us more than we love ourselves, our pain pains them more. Love manifests in many forms and measures. True light only shines within darkness, which is why I have come. To take time out is to steal time from yourself. With 2 eyes and 2 ears but 1 mouth, observe and listen twice as much as you speak. Happiness is made by making others happy. You cannot move forward by standing still. You did not choose your parents, why endure their errors? Enjoy the fruit, not the tree's planter. He who raises a hand will soon deliver a blow. The other line always seems to move faster. The first sign of abuse is a raised voice. Mortals' goal should be perfection and divinity. Who decreed what beauty is? Don't believe anyone, not even yourself means we live by knowing, not believing. Confirmation through our own research and reasoning replaces blind faith. The aphorism about breathing in and out awakens inner wisdom, inviting personal interpretation. And the sense of arguing with oneself reflects the spirits we absorb from others. To reclaim our true voice, we must immerse ourselves in study. Consistent reading of the papyri, actual facts, and master secrets decodes our DNA, revealing the authentic self beneath layers of foreign influence. Rituals can also cleanse lingering energies. By embracing Wu-Nup through sound reasoning, disciplined study, and ritual, we silence foreign voices, reclaim our birthright, and step confidently into our fullest potential. Consider, no matter how they portray Jesus, he will never outrank the Pope, the supreme head of Christianity. No matter how they represent Muhammad, the Saud family still governs Mecca. And however they claim Moses, the Jews of Israel remain custodians of his tradition. These faiths, these cultures, are not ours. We must reclaim our own. We began preserving records of every being to inhabit this planet. We divide all humanoids into 24,000 unique genomes, each lodged in both a physical ether and a mental ether. These ethers correspond to the species and their racial characteristics, both tangible and subtle. 9 physical ethers describe the Negroid, African, race, each ether reflecting one species with its own set of traits. 8 ethers describe the Aborigine, Australian, race. 7 ethers describe the Indian, South Asian, race. 6 ethers for the female Caucasoid and 5 ethers for the male Caucasoid, the so-called white race. Grafted and engineered by extraterrestrials, God, they yield 6 distinct female species and 5 male species, all genetically unrelated except by interbreeding over time in Europe. Three ethers define the three great Asian peoples, Chinese, Japanese, and Korean, each preserving uniquely unmixed genes. Four ethers describe every hybrid or mixed race subrace, the product of extensive intermingling primarily by the Caucasoids. Physical ether does not imply moral value, good or evil, but counts a race's variety of characteristics among Earth's 24,000 genomes. Notice the recurrence of 24 in our world, 24 hours in a day, 24 weeks to gestation, 24,000 miles in Earth's circumference, and the 24,000-year equinox cycle. Over the last 6,000 years, the Caucasoid race has sought to uncover its own history, discovering remains of Cro-Magnon, Neanderthal, and other Adamite peoples. Yet these findings only reiterate that their race was artificially created, grafted for violence and domination. They mix genes with animals, dogs, pigs, baboons, to produce warlike, cannibalistic beastmen trained for aggression. Their own religious texts betray this. Every imagination of the thoughts of their hearts was only evil continually, Genesis 6-5. Thus was enmity placed between them and all other races, Genesis 3:15. Their world, political, educational, media, is built to spread corruption, lust, intoxicants, gambling, war, crime, and false religions. Today, they pursue DNA evidence to assert 6 distinct gene pools, yet all point back to forced experiments by extraterrestrial gods. Beyond the physical ethers lie realms of spirit. Two classes of specters exist: holy spirits, haunters of sacred places, and unholy spirits, demons, jinn, who may possess, transform, or deceive, taking forms from angels to idols. They enter our world through fear, rituals, Ouija boards, and other occult means. When gateways open, both good and evil can cross over, Genesis 28:12, Luke 10:18. Every major religion unwittingly invites these specters into daily life. None truly teach how to distinguish and master them. Our mission in Wu-Nuup is to reveal who we really are, 9 ether beings both physically and mentally. Many races have faded. The Caucasoids now approach extinction after their 6,000-year dominion, 4000 BCE to 2000 CE. Their last offspring, red-haired and fair-skinned gingers, the blondes, are already dwindling. They were the final race created on Earth, Genesis 1:26-27. Paradoxically, they shall be the first to vanish. Meanwhile, the original seeds, the 9 ethers of the African race, endure. Variations persist among Aborigines, 8 ethers, Indians, 7, Asians, 3, and hybrids, 4. Mixed race populations around the world, Hispanics, Afro-Asians, African Americans, and more, reflect the deep scars of invasion and genetic mixing. But chromosome by chromosome, genome by genome, the truth emerges. In time, all will revert to their original seeds. As a human family of many hues, from albino to melanite, our unity springs from acknowledging our shared origin in Africa. Baba Yanun has appeared to teach what none before him dared. Not what you were called, but who you truly are. Through the science of Wu-Nuup, you will claim your culture, your spirituality, your destiny, rooted firmly in the 9 ethers of the Negroid race, the first and most diverse of Earth's children. All black people, along with brown and yellow peoples, possess souls, spirits, and etheric forces. In our terminology, Kat, body, represents energy, Ra, soul, signifies motion, Ka, spirit, represents altitude, and Nefesh denotes the life force. Both male and female across these 3 hues, black, brown, yellow, carry these elements. Femininity safeguards our past, masculinity protects our future. Every male emerges from a female, so his body, spirit, and soul originate in her. In contrast, red and white ethers lack soul. Like beasts, they live only by 6 etheric forces, body and spirit, and have no immortal spark. This foundational truth informs today's study. Our present school of Wu-Sabat teaches that the biblical and Quranic creation stories describe the origins of the Caucasoid race, not ours. Their genealogies trace from Jesus back to Adam over only a few thousand years. Meanwhile, archaeology and genetics show our line in Africa stretches back 7 to 9 million years. Recognizing this is vital, we must not seek validation in narratives not meant for us. Questions and clarifications often arise. Do Caucasoid ever have souls? Naturally, no. They belong to the 6 ether existence and lack a soul. However, those who surrender their souls to 6 ether forces temporarily lose their soul, because these forces cannot exist on the spiritual plane otherwise. Yet, the soul cannot be seized until death, so individuals can reclaim it while alive. He restoreth my soul. Can Caucasoid females ever gain a soul? Yes. Through genetic kiss with a Nagaru male, who carries the necessary mitochondrial line, a Caucasoid woman can transform from Phi-6 to Phi-9, thereby receiving a soul. If a black man surrenders his soul to save a Caucaso female, does he lose his soul? Saving another entails sacrifice, but he can later reclaim his own soul by reuniting with pure African lineage. Resurrection of our race is a multi-generational breeding process, geneticus, the science of sex, aimed at eliminating the six ether influence. Can spirit beings shapeshift into human forms? Yes. Disembodied spirits take on images that suit their purpose, much like religious icons portray gods. They can mimic familiar faces and trick souls traveling in the spirit realm. However, no spirit can assume the master teacher's form in visions or dreams. Ancient doctrines were male-centric. In truth, women held souls first and passed them to their sons. Earth was once divided by an electromagnetic fence: herbivores in South Africa, carnivores in Arabia and Mesopotamia, until a 23 degrees axial shift broke the barrier and mixed species. Hawa, Eve, and her people dwelt in Kush, South Africa. Nature itself rejects the Adamite race, striving to shake them off. We may eat fowl, chicken, duck, ostrich, turkey, but not bovines, for cattle are sacred and their blood is forbidden.